Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Goose. Doing the weekly recap here. Cosmic and Spaz, I both got sick tonight. Cosmic did put out a video earlier for his weekly recap. We just weren't able to do the stream like we wanted to. So this is my weekly recap portion. Wanted to go over what happened this week. Pretty crazy week. If y'all weren't paying attention, you got Eastman Kodak doing shit, Precipio, Kandi Technologies. Bitcoin was going crazy, so anyway, let's go ahead and get into it. So I want to touch base on Eastman Kodak first because it is what it is, but this is about as insider trading as you could possibly get. Um, this is a chart that I made. News release is in here. You got this big, run up right here before the news, the day before the news, basically the 27th, all the way up to the 8th. Um, And I didn't even highlight exactly where the news is. I put it at 6 a.m. That's not even correct. 6:15 is real correct. So I'll go into that in just a minute. Start. And then I made another one here just to kind of give you an idea. This is the normal range line over the last like long ass time on Eastman Kodak. You can go back a good months, and that's your typical range on Eastman Kodak. And then you see on the 27th, you see this crazy little run up here. I mean, what the hell is that? The news ain't even come out yet, and it's running up a whole dollar a share basically. Um, Kind of something all of us maybe should have picked up on, and I'll get to that in a minute too. So if you go to the news, that's your news. 6:18 a.m. is when Benzinga released it. Came out a little bit earlier than that, 6:15 or so, but that's 6:15. You just keep that time frame, 6:15, and scroll down a little bit. Not too much news, anything to really worry about, just some forms, SEC filings, stuff like that. Actually covers several different tickers. It's not just Kodak. But if you come look at June 24th on Eastman Kodak, you've got one of the directors buying 5,000 shares at 222. Not too big of a deal. But then you got another director, the executive chair, actually buying almost 47,000 shares at an average price of 222. Um, Same director bought the other 5,000 on the 15th, bought a 5,248 as well. So those kind of insider buying, insider, buying reports, it's usually a pretty bullish signal, something you might want to pay attention to. But if we do look at the chart, so bring it up here so it's a little bit bigger out. All right, so if we look at the chart, you can see we'll go back. This is June 24th when they made those buys. And you can see it actually spiked a little bit straight off those buys. Well, had a run up. I don't want to call that a spike, but had a run up. 50 cent, 20 cent, 25 cent, 50 cent run up. That's not really what you're expecting from that. So the point is this is the range of this stock though. Is you're looking at like 225 area, 230 to the bottom twos, and that has been the range for a long time. You see it a lot more volatile here, uh, but that's still the range. It's 240 to 2 o'clock or $2. So been that way for a while. Did that. Uh, what I wanted to show you mainly though is that's our run up here that I was talking about in this. So from the 27th, if you had noticed from the 27th that it went, $2.10 up to almost $3, you know, by 8:59 or 7:59, almost $3. So it's actually a decent overnight hold. The volume's kind of spotty in the after hours there, um, but that's a decent run up to have a nice overnight hold. First green day. Um, Kind of surprised none of us picked up on it, to be honest. But then if you look at the actual news as well, so not only did it have that run up, the day before the news, but you've got, a nice increase in volume at 5:23, and then 6 a.m. You got one buy. I don't know how many actual trades were here, but at least one at 5:23, then 6 a.m. Okay, and you can see it's still going up. People are trading it. The news hadn't even come out yet. Okay, so your news release is here. It's already up significant amount. It's already at 450 as opposed to $3. It already went up $1.50 before the news even broke. Uh, Huge sign of insider trading. Um, somebody had some information that nobody else had. Uh, anyway, it was way overextended. I slept in that morning. I didn't wake up till about 7. It was at 6 in that area there. Um, I didn't want to play it at that point. It was way overextended already. I had no reason to play it at that point, and not gonna regret it. But as you all know, what it did that day, spiked up pretty good to $12 almost, then kind of ran down. Typical expectations there. I guess Trump didn't like the results. He wanted it to go higher, so Trump pumped the shit out of it on his little news conference. And as you can see, it just kind of fucking ran. So that afternoon, after hours or whatever, it ran up to 1322. So it broke its previous high. Um, Really good overnight hold at that point. Uh, I would not blame anybody for holding it overnight just based off of patterns, uh, setups that you generally go with. And then after that, you see, you know, really, if you did hold it overnight, you probably would have sold it in the morning because at 4 a.m. it hits at $13 and kind of fades a little bit. Gives you some worry, right? No, I don't know too many that would have held through that almost $2 a share drop by 7 a.m. spike. And then at 7 a.m., it decided we're going to go up and yeah, boom, 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 all the way up to 60. Just crazy, crazy nuts. And the fact that it held its kind of gains, pretty good there. A little bouncy here and there. Plenty of opportunity for dip buys, plenty of opportunity for scalping, um, plenty of opportunity for shorting. So you could have shorted it all the way from the top. I doubt you would have gotten it dollars on the short, but $50, highly possible. $50 on the short, boom. Very, very, very nice play, potentially, on the short side. I wouldn't have played it on the long side, too much risk. On the short side, you still had risk because of the volatility, especially down here in this area. Um, Still had some risk there on the short, but there's not as much risk when it's way up, like up at $50. Stock was at $2. Now it's at $50 on bogus stuff. Not like it's huge news, bogus news, in my opinion. Companies over 100 million in debt. They just took a $750 million loan, roughly. Loan. Let me reiterate that loan. They're already $100 million in debt. They've been on the brink of bankruptcy for years. I mean, just and they're getting a loan to go into some business that they have no business in. They don't make drugs. I don't. They've never made drugs. So good luck with that. So yeah, good luck with that. I won't really get too much more into it, but that was one of the big plays, obviously, this week. And then you said the same thing with Kandi Technologies. I called the short on that, pretty good. Uh, I actually called it too soon because I called the short. I called the short on Kandi Technologies at the end of the day, right here. So spiked up to 14, $15, way too high. The news here is kind of bogus to me too. You know, it's an EV play. Kandi Technologies is a battery company, you know, formerly a battery company. Now I guess they're getting into the EV, you know, electric vehicle market, um, which you know that at least kind of makes sense. You go from batteries to electric vehicles, but other than that, the news was about releasing just in the Dallas market or something. Great, but that's this doesn't add too much value to stock in my. Anyways, I called it way overextended. I didn't play it at all that day, um, but some of the people were talking about it in the chat room and after hours, and some people were playing it later on when it was in the higher price range. I just kind of warned them that that's that's not really a great position to be in. Your risk is too high. I did say it was gonna move in the morning, the next morning, and once you get your profits, get out. And once you get your profits, cut your profits, and then or lock in your profits, and then get out of that dumpster fire that you're in because it's gonna fade. So I said it was overextended at this price for $13, way overextended. As you can see, if you had shorted just from there, you might have gotten scared out of your short position as it went up, but if you had some faith, you would have done just fine. You would have done $5, $6 a share, covering down here. Uh, you could have done even better. I said that I thought it was going to spike. Thought you were going to be able to get some profits off of it. So if you watch that, locked in your locates on your shares, and then shorted it from the top up here somewhere, oh, that would have been beautiful. You shorted it real high up here, you wouldn't have gotten shook out of your cover. Cover your position, like this crack bounce. Um, but it's just a beautiful, beautiful play there. Really, really beautiful play. Other ones, PRPO, kind of missed out on that one. I actually saw the news uh, when it was still sitting at $1.40. They were talking about it, $1.47. Benzinga was talking about it, and I just really wasn't in the mindset to trade that day, so I didn't bother with it. But definitely could have made some good money on that had I made that trade. And but it is what it is. I, I'm not upset. So some other things that happened this week, man, was Bitcoin. I actually had on my watch list this week, um, Marin Riot, which are both Bitcoin plays. I did have ABUS and mRNA because of their little tussle last week. I figured that was gonna, go in your favor, and ABUS definitely did. If you look at ABUS on the 5-day chart, um, I was calling it as a short. I said it was way too high, and as you can see, once again, absolutely, you know, it was great news, whatever about their patent thing, but that vaccine's not even making. Talking about getting royalties off a vaccine that's not even monetized and might never be monetized. They got to win the race first for that to happen. And then mRNA, same thing. mRNA has had ups and downs all week based off of different varying news, but down to the 75s now. I was actually kind of bullish on mRNA. the beginning of the week, and it did, make a significant step up, but obviously dropped down since then. So another play that I called was TCRR and GNCA. So TCRR, well, I'll just say GNCA was set to release some information on Friday about their solid tumor research, but TCRR has the same solid tumor research and was set to release theirs. They actually released it on Sunday. I put the news out in the chat and mentioned it, that this is going to be a good play, and GNCA is going to drop significantly because of it. So TCRR basically beat them to the punch, beat them to the punch. So um, uh, we can go on the 1 month chart. I didn't really look at 1 month, but first of all, the first thing that you notice is this huge downside before that news hit Sunday. The news broke Sunday evening sometime. Wasn't supposed to break until Monday morning, but it broke early Sunday morning, or late Sunday evening, early Monday morning. I forget exactly the time. I really want to scroll through all that. But you could tell right there that it's not priced in. That's the key that I'm trying to make here, is that it's not priced in at all. It's actually below. It's got a gap to fill at that point. So called that as a good play. It, it was right from the get go, 4 o'clock. Really didn't start its true spike until 7 a.m. So you had a good time to get in at 4 a.m. and ride that wave, but it rode all the way up to $20. They dropped an offering same day, and even with the offering, which I think was actually around this area, so this was just a crack off the spike. It generally happens, so you always want to be careful and sell into strength and all that good stuff. But the offering happened, I believe, about right here. Pretty sure this crack is when the offering happened. And so uh, it even kept going off the offering. It cracked down and then kept running. Really a decent play. Um, well, yeah, good point. I can't even tell when the offering was. The offering was the as the same day as the spike. So the offering could have been in any of this point. I don't remember exactly what time. Point is that the offering, it may have been actually from this crack at 9:30. No, it wasn't at 9:30. That's just a market open crack. But either way, regardless, if you had played it from the get go at $13 um, or $14 or whatnot, even after the offering, you still would have made some good money. It was still in the 16s at the close. So great call on there. And GNCA, respectively, just tanked. Did not do well at all whatsoever. So it had its little spike Monday, right at the in the open time. Then it dropped, pulled back, consolidated, and then just tanked. So they lost the race to TCRR, and I pretty much called that and mentioned it, for you guys to take advantage of. So the other thing that I would touch base on for me would be Mara and Riot. Mara is the better performer of the two when it comes to Bitcoin. Mara tends to react better to Bitcoin. Mara going into Sunday was at $1.15 or so, and as you can see now, it's at 272. So I called it, Sunday night to be a great play in the morning, and it spiked really well right off the get go. But all day, the 27th, it did well. So closed, in this area, but yeah, it went all the way up to $1.76 or so, and then continued on. Bitcoin did well. You could you can always track the Mara stock with the Bitcoin, and it generally will trend behind it. So if you're watching Bitcoin and Bitcoin spiking, you can usually get in on Mara before it spikes. It doesn't mirror it absolutely. So again, I made a call this morning on Mara. I said, Bitcoin's through the roof right now, and Mara just cracked. So at 4 a.m., for whatever reason, yeah, this right here. So at 4 a.m., for whatever reason, it cracked from $1.70 something to $1.62. No reason for that crack, $1.60. No reason for that crack. And I called it when I saw it. I was like, look, Bitcoin is up. And this just cracked hard. Great entry point. Um, you know, get in on it. Uh, excuse me. Then it ran up to $1.80 later on and then kind of faded off again. And then it just started running, later in the day. But Bitcoin kept running. And that was the whole point. And you ended up at a high of 285, roughly, somewhere in that area, 290. But either way, if you'd played my call from the beginning of the week, it would have gone from $1.15 to 272. Or you could have played my call this morning, or Friday morning, 4 a.m. Right at $1.60. Uh, Rode that wave for at least $1 a share. You could have even bought in at 7 a.m. if you can't trade the 4 a.m. hours. At 7 a.m. at $1.73, still a good buy, definitely. Still a good buy. Uh, I mean, that's pretty much all I wanted to touch base on. Just go over the week and, go over my picks. Um, Pretty well performing. Mark, CHMA, AQST, Nimley, those are my positions. They are not quite doing what we want them to do yet, but I still have faith. I still have faith. Those are all long-term plays. Nimley is a swing play, and it just stopped swinging. Its swing pattern decided I've got no more momentum, and it's kind of just sitting there. So I don't know what I'm going to do with that yet. I think I'm going to just hold on to it, wait for the next spike. But um, Mark, CHMA, and AQST are highly long-term into at least quarter 4 uh, for all three of those stocks. So we'll see what happens. Uh, I'd like to be able to, lock in some profits and ride some free shares into quarter 4, um, but I haven't been able to do that yet on Mark. So anyway, uh, excuse me. Sorry guys, it's 4 a.m. Tired. Um, anyway, thanks for listening, guys, and y'all have a good weekend. We'll catch you on Monday.